Ladies and gentlemen, right now in this very moment, I want you to stop and ask yourself, who are you? Not the person the world tells you to be, not the version shaped by past failures, fears, or limitations. Who are you really? The way you see yourself determines every outcome in your life. It affects the decisions you make, the actions you take, and the way you respond to challenges. Your self-esteem is like a blueprint. It creates the foundation for everything you experience. If you see yourself as someone who always struggles, who isn't good enough, who can't achieve greatness, then your mind will find ways to make that belief a reality. On the other hand, if you start seeing yourself as powerful, capable, and worthy of success, your actions will align with that belief and your life will begin to change. Most people don't even realize that they're trapped in a story they didn't choose. They have been conditioned by their past experiences, by what others have told them, by the failures they've encountered, and they've accepted those things as truth. But the truth is just a perception, and perception can be changed. Think about a thermostat in a house. If it's set to 70 degrees, the room will always return to that temperature no matter what happens outside. Your self-esteem is the thermostat for your life. No matter how hard you push, if your inner belief system is set at a low level, you will always find a way to return to what feels familiar. If you've ever tried to make a big change but found yourself slipping back into old patterns, it's because your identity hasn't shifted. You can push yourself with willpower for a while, but if deep down you still see yourself as the same person, your mind will find a way to pull you back to where you started. Real transformation happens when you upgrade your self-perception. You have to create a new identity, one that aligns with the life you want to live. If you want to be confident, you must start seeing yourself as a confident person. If you want to be successful, you must start believing you are capable of success. Your mind is always looking for proof of what you already believe. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, your mind will find evidence to support that. If you tell yourself you always fail, your brain will remind you of every past failure. But when you start telling yourself a new story, one where you are strong, driven, and capable, your brain will begin searching for proof of that as well. The key is to take control of the narrative in your mind. You must start feeding yourself thoughts that support the person you want to become. Everything begins with awareness. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself. What words do you use when you think about your abilities, your potential, your future? Are you reinforcing an image of weakness and limitation, or are you reinforcing an image of power and possibility? The first step in changing your self-image is catching the negative self-talk and replacing it with empowering beliefs. You have to consciously decide that the old version of you is no longer in charge. One of the fastest ways to shift your self-perception is through action. When you take bold action that aligns with the new identity you want to create, your mind starts to believe it. If you want to be someone who is disciplined, start acting disciplined. If you want to be someone who is fearless, start making decisions like a fearless person would. Your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and perception. If you act like the person you want to become, your mind will catch up and start believing it. Your environment also plays a huge role in how you see yourself. The people you spend time with, conversations you engage in, the content you consume, all of it reinforces your self-esteem. If you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt themselves, who complain, who stay stuck in the same patterns, it will be nearly impossible for you to elevate your own self-perception. But if you surround yourself with people who push themselves, who believe in growth, who take action, their energy will start influencing yours. The change you want starts inside of you. It doesn't happen overnight. And it doesn't happen just by thinking about it. It happens when you make a conscious decision to shift the way you see yourself and then back that up with action. Every time you push past fear, every time you refuse to let doubt control you, every time you take a step forward despite discomfort, you are rewiring your identity. You are setting a new thermostat for your life, one that aligns with success, confidence, and limitless potential. Most people live their lives trapped by invisible chains. Beliefs that were never truly their own, but were programmed into them by past experiences, failures, and the words of others. These limiting beliefs act as barriers, keeping them from reaching their true potential. They whisper doubts, telling them they're not smart enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. The problem isn't their skills or abilities. The problem is that they have accepted these beliefs as reality, when in fact they are nothing more than mental illusions. A limiting belief is like a wall inside your mind. It tells you where you can and cannot go. The truth is, Most of these walls were built from childhood experiences, moments of rejection, or times when something didn't go as planned. Over time, these moments turned into rules. Rules that define how much success, happiness, and achievement a person believes they deserve. But these rules are lies. They are outdated, false, and completely within your control to break. Think about an elephant in captivity. When it is a baby, it is tied to a small stake in the ground. No matter how hard it pulls, it cannot break free. Eventually, the elephant gives up. It accepts that the rope defines its limits. But here's the key. When that elephant grows into a powerful adult, it could rip that stake from the ground effortlessly. Yet it doesn't even try. Why? Because it still believes the same thing it learned as a baby, that it's trapped. That belief is an illusion. And the same thing happens to people. They go through life carrying beliefs that are no longer true, but because they have never challenged them, they continue living within the boundaries of their own mental cage. To break free from limiting beliefs, you first have to identify them. They are often hidden beneath layers of excuses, self-doubt, and fear. They show up in statements like, "I'm just not that kind of person. I've never been good at this." Or, "That's just the way I am." These phrases seem innocent, but they are actually powerful mental programming. The first step to changing your life is catching yourself when you say these things and questioning them. Who told you that's the way you are? When did you decide that? What proof do you actually have that this belief is true? Most of the time, when you dig deep, you realize these beliefs are built on nothing more than a single bad experience or someone else's opinion. Once you recognize a limiting belief, you must replace it with something stronger. The mind can't just erase a belief, it has to replace it with a new empowering one. If you've always believed you're not confident, you must start telling yourself a new story. I am learning to be confident every day. If you've believed you're not smart enough, you must begin affirming, I am capable of learning anything I set my mind to. Words have power, but action is what cements new beliefs into your identity. When you take action that contradicts an old belief, your mind is forced to adjust. If you've always believed you're not good at public speaking, but you step onto a stage and do it anyway, your brain can no longer hold on to the idea that you can't. The same applies to fitness, business, relationships, or any other area of life. The more you act in alignment with your new belief, the faster the old one will shatter. Another powerful tool in breaking limiting beliefs is surrounding yourself with people who challenge them. If you spend time with individuals who believe in growth, who push past their own fears, and who live in a way that contradicts your old beliefs, their mindset will start rubbing off on you. Seeing others succeed where you once believed success was impossible forces your brain to question its old assumptions. If they can do it, why can't you? Most people never challenge the beliefs that hold them back. They accept them as truth, never realizing that those beliefs are the only thing standing between them and the life they truly want. But the moment you decide to question them, to break them, to replace them with something stronger, everything changes. The walls come down, the possibilities expand, and suddenly the life you once thought was out of reach becomes something you are capable of stepping into. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but for most people, it becomes their greatest enemy. It is constantly shaping your actions, your emotions, and your reality based on the thoughts you allow to dominate it. If those thoughts are filled with self-doubt, fear, and hesitation, your life will reflect that. But if you reprogram your mind with empowering beliefs, unstoppable confidence, and a mindset of resilience, everything changes. The problem is that most people don't realize they have control over their thoughts. They think their fears, insecurities, and doubts are just part of who they are, when in reality, they are patterns that can be rewritten. Every single belief you hold is the result of conditioning. Your mind has been programmed since the moment you were born, by your environment, by the people around you, by experiences that shaped your perception of yourself and the world. If you grew up in an environment where you were told to play it safe, to not take risks, to stay within certain boundaries, your mind has been wired to avoid uncertainty. If you've experienced failure and allowed it to define you, your mind has been programmed to believe that you are not capable of success. These beliefs are not the truth. They are just patterns your brain has adopted over time. And just like any program, they can be rewritten. Your subconscious mind is always listening. The words you speak, the thoughts you repeat, the stories you tell yourself, they are shaping your identity every single day. If you constantly say, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I always fail, your subconscious takes those statements as commands. It doesn't question them, it simply works to make them your reality. But the moment you decide to change the programming, to feed your mind with powerful, positive, and unstoppable beliefs, you begin to see a shift in your life. One of the fastest ways to reprogram your mind is through repetition. Whatever you tell yourself consistently becomes ingrained in your subconscious. This is why affirmations work, but only if they are backed by emotion and action. If you wake up every day and say, I am confident, I am powerful, I am capable, and you do it with belief, your brain begins to rewire itself. It starts searching for evidence that supports this new identity. When challenges arise, instead of defaulting to fear, your mind will default to resilience, because that's what you have trained it to do. The people you surround yourself with also play a major role in shaping your mindset. If you are constantly around individuals who doubt themselves, who complain, who see obstacles instead of opportunities, your brain will absorb that energy. But when you place yourself in an environment where people think big, take action, and push past their limits, your mind will begin to mirror that same mentality. The power of association cannot be underestimated. If you want to reprogram your mind for confidence and success, immerse yourself in a world that reinforces those beliefs. Action is the key to reinforcing any new belief. You cannot just think your way into confidence. You have to prove to your mind that you are capable. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, every time you do something that challenges your old beliefs, your brain rewires itself. The fear that once seemed overwhelming starts to lose its grip. The doubts that once controlled you begin to fade. Your new reality starts to take shape because you are no longer feeding your mind with the old limitations that once held you back. Visualization is another powerful tool in reprogramming your subconscious. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. This is why elite athletes, top performers, and successful entrepreneurs use visualization to condition their minds for success. When you close your eyes and see yourself achieving your goals, speaking with confidence, taking bold action, your brain begins to accept that as truth. It starts aligning your emotions, your decisions, and your actions with that vision. The key to lasting change is consistency. You can't reprogram your mind in a day, just like you can't build a strong body with one workout. It requires daily effort. Feeding your mind with powerful beliefs, surrounding yourself with the right influences, taking action that reinforces your new identity. Over time, the old doubts, fears, and limitations begin to fade. You start to operate from a place of certainty, from a place of strength, from a place of unshakable confidence. The environment you immerse yourself in has a profound impact on your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your identity. Many people struggle to change because they are constantly surrounded by influences that reinforce their old patterns. They want to grow, but they stay in environments that keep them stuck. They want confidence, success, and personal transformation, but they continue to expose themselves to negativity, doubt, and limiting beliefs. If you want to change your life, you have to change what surrounds you. The people, the conversations, the books, the content you consume. All of these factors shape your perception of yourself and what you believe is possible. Human beings are wired for adaptation. We absorb the behaviors, attitudes, and energy of those around us. If you spend most of your time with people who are unmotivated, who complain, who make excuses, you will unconsciously adopt those same habits. Your standards will adjust to match the people you associate with. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with individuals who challenge themselves, who think big, who take action, you will start to elevate your own mindset. You will begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You will start pushing yourself beyond limits you once thought were fixed. Your surroundings are not just limited to people. The information you consume daily plays a massive role in shaping your identity. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, whether it's from social media, news, or toxic conversations, it will condition your brain to focus on problems rather than solutions. But if you intentionally consume content that inspires, educates, and empowers you, your mind will begin to operate from a place of strength rather than fear. Every book you read, every podcast you listen to, every video you watch is programming your subconscious mind. You have to be intentional about what you allow into your mental space. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they can grow while staying in the same environment that created their current limitations. Change requires discomfort. It requires stepping out of what is familiar and putting yourself in situations that challenge you. If your environment does not support your goals, you have to actively seek out new spaces that do. This might mean finding a mentor, joining a community of like-minded individuals, or even physically relocating to a place that fosters your growth. Transformation is not just about changing how you think. It's about changing what influences your thoughts on a daily basis. The energy of the people around you is contagious. If you spend time with those who are driven, who take action, who refuse to settle, that energy will push you to operate at a higher level. Success leaves clues. And when you are constantly exposed to individuals who are achieving the results you want, your brain starts to see those results as possible for you as well. The opposite is also true. If you are surrounded by negativity, by people who have given up on their dreams, that energy will pull you down. You must be ruthless about protecting your environment if you want to reach your full potential. Another critical factor in shaping your identity is the language that surrounds you, the words people use, the conversations you engage in. These things matter more than most people realize. If you are always around people who speak in terms of limitation, scarcity, and fear, it will affect the way you see the world. But if you immerse yourself in conversations about growth, possibilities, and solutions, your entire perspective shifts. Language is powerful, and the words you hear every day influence the beliefs you hold about yourself and your future. Your habits are also a direct reflection of your environment. If you want to develop discipline, confidence, and success-oriented behaviors, you need to be in a space that supports those habits. This might mean creating a structured daily routine, designing a workspace that keeps you focused, or eliminating distractions that pull you away from your goals. The smallest changes in your surroundings can have a massive impact on your mindset and productivity. It's important to understand that changing your environment doesn't always mean cutting people out of your life completely. It simply means being conscious of where you invest your time and energy. You can still love and respect people while choosing to spend more time in spaces that push you toward growth. The key is to be intentional. Every decision you make about your surroundings is either moving you closer to the person you want to become or reinforcing the person you are trying to outgrow. The choice is always yours. Your identity is not fixed. It is not something you were born with that remains unchanged throughout your life. It is something you shape, something you create through your beliefs, your actions, and the standards you set for yourself. Too many people live their lives trapped in an identity that no longer serves them, holding on to labels and stories that were given to them by others. They say, "I'm just not that kind of person," or "that's just who I am," without realizing that they have the power to redefine themselves at any moment. The problem is that most people don't question their identity. They assume that the way they think, behave, and react to the world is just who they are. But the truth is, your identity is nothing more than a collection of beliefs reinforced over time. If you believe you are shy, it's because you've acted in a way that confirms that belief. If you believe you're bad at something, it's because you've repeated experiences that validate that assumption. The more you reinforce an idea about yourself, the stronger that identity becomes. But just as your current identity was built, it can be changed. To transform your identity, you must first decide who you want to become. Not what others expect from you, not what your past suggests, but who you truly want to be. Most people never take the time to define this for themselves. They drift through life reacting to circumstances rather than consciously shaping their own path. But when you take control of your identity, you shift from being a passive participant to the creator of your own reality. Your actions shape your identity more than anything else. If you want to see yourself as confident, you must act with confidence. If you want to be disciplined, you must take disciplined action. It's not about waiting until you feel ready or until the conditions are perfect. It's about embodying the identity you want to have, even before you fully believe it. This is how true change happens. You don't become successful and then start acting like a successful person. You act like a successful person first. And over time, success becomes your new reality. Every action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who is disciplined. When you go to the gym, even when you don't feel like it, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who prioritizes their health. When you speak up in situations where you'd normally stay silent, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who is confident. Change doesn't happen overnight, but every small decision adds up. One of the fastest ways to shift your identity is to change the way you speak to yourself. Your internal dialogue is constantly reinforcing your beliefs about who you are. If you catch yourself saying, "I'm just not a confident person," stop and reframe it. Instead say, "I am learning to be confident every day." If you say, "I've always been bad at this," shift it to, "I am improving every time I try." The words you use have power, and when you shift the language you use about yourself, you begin to shift your identity. Another powerful tool for changing your identity is visualization. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. If you close your eyes and see yourself acting with confidence, taking action, achieving your goals, your brain starts accepting that as reality. The more you visualize the person you want to become, the more your actions begin to align with that identity. This is why top athletes, successful entrepreneurs, and high achievers use visualization. It reprograms the mind to operate from a place of possibility rather than limitation. Who you believe yourself to be shapes every decision you make. If you believe you are someone who follows through, you will act accordingly. If you believe you are someone who gives up easily, that belief will dictate your behavior. The key is to create evidence for the identity you want to have. The more you take action that supports your new identity, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you don't have to force yourself to be confident, disciplined, or successful. It just becomes who you are. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for external validation before they change how they see themselves. They think, once I achieve this goal, then I'll believe in myself. But it doesn't work that way. You have to believe in yourself first. You have to act like the person you want to become, even when there's no evidence yet. This is what separates those who transform their lives from those who stay stuck. Change your identity and everything else follows. The greatest limitations in life are not the external obstacles you face, but the internal barriers you create within your own mind. People talk themselves out of success before they even try. They convince themselves they are not ready, not good enough, not capable, and they let these beliefs dictate their actions. But the truth is, every limitation you perceive is a mental construct. It is not real until you make it real. The most successful people in the world are not those who never experience fear or doubt. They are the ones who refuse to let those thoughts control them. Your mind is a battlefield, and every day you have a choice. Either you take control of it, or it takes control of you. If you allow negative thoughts to dominate, they will shape your reality. If you let fear dictate your decisions, you will stay stuck. But when you train your mind to see challenges as opportunities, to replace doubt with belief, and to push forward despite uncertainty, you take back your power. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the results you create in your life. One of the biggest mental barriers people face is the fear of failure. They see failure as proof that they are not good enough, that they should quit, that they are not meant for success. But failure is not a stop sign. It is feedback. It is a lesson. It is part of the process of growth. The most successful people have failed more times than the average person has even tried. The difference is that they do not let failure define them. They extract the lesson, make adjustments, and keep moving forward. Every time you fail, you have two choices. Either you use it as an excuse to give up, or you use it as fuel to push harder. Another common limitation is the belief that change is too hard, that it takes too long, or that it is not possible. People convince themselves that because they have been a certain way for years, they cannot change now. But transformation is always available to those who are willing to do the work. Your past does not define your future. Who you were yesterday has no control over who you can become tomorrow. The moment you decide to break free from the old patterns that hold you back, you open the door to a new reality. Self-doubt is another powerful barrier that keeps people stuck. They hesitate, they question themselves, they wait for the perfect moment. And in doing so, they miss opportunities. The truth is, confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build through action. You don't wait until you feel ready. You take action despite the doubt. And in doing so, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Every time you push through self-doubt, you weaken its hold on you. The more you act in the face of fear, the less power that fear has over you. Your belief system is the foundation of your reality. If you believe you are limited, you will be. If you believe you are capable, you will find a way to succeed. The key is to challenge every limiting belief that holds you back. Ask yourself, is this belief serving me, or is it keeping me stuck? Who gave me this belief? Where did it come from? And most importantly, what would happen if I chose to believe something different? The moment you start questioning the limitations in your mind, you start breaking free from them. Another common mental barrier is the need for external validation. Too many people let the opinions of others dictate their decisions. They seek approval, they fear judgment, and they hold themselves back because they worry about what people will think. But the truth is, no one else is living your life. You are. You cannot build an extraordinary life if you are constantly trying to please everyone else. You have to be willing to stand firm in your vision, even when others do not understand it. You have to trust yourself more than you trust the doubts of others. The key to overcoming mental barriers is taking action. You cannot think your way into confident success or personal growth. You have to act your way into it. The moment you take a step forward, no matter how small, you create momentum. And once momentum builds, fear loses its grip. The only way to truly overcome your limitations is to prove to yourself that they do not control you. The more you push through them, the weaker they become. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. Every thought you entertain is shaping your reality. You have the power to rewrite the script, to break free from limitations, and to create a new identity that aligns with the future you want. The only question is, will you take control of your mind or will you let it control you?